It says I'm live. Well, howdy, everybody. I just got the Tea Leaf Oracle cards because I've seen more and more people using them, and I like them, so I got them. It's that simple. I guess I'm gonna pull 12 cards. And I'm just read off the book. What I'm gonna do though, I'm gonna separate these out in like 5 piles to get these a little shuffled while I'm finding the month cards. Okay, well, however many piles I do is how many piles I do. 7 is the magic number. See, I got the 12 month of the year cards. I'm going to put these out, and then I'm going to shuffle these up and put a card on top of them. And that's, okay, let's do this like this. That's going to make this a little smoother. And then they also have astral houses. Just got them. So this is the shuffle. I was live on the Legacy channel. I know I said I was going to be dirty. But I'll probably get on when my degree comes soon. Like, oh my gosh, it came. Finally. It seemed like I wasn't expecting it last year because I didn't earn it, but they sent it anyway. And it seemed like it came super quick. Now that I've actually earned it and I'm wanting it, now it's taking its time, which is fine. It'll come when it comes. But I'm just ready to officially have that piece of paper that certifies that that chapter of my life is closed. There's like 200 cards in this deck. I think I said that. So let me speed this up a little bit. I always come live and I'm like, oh, this is something that I could have done before the live. But honestly, for me, this is a part of the reading. It's like sifting through the energies to find the things that I'm looking for. It's not necessarily a ritual, but it feels like one. It feels like whatever I'm doing should be a part of it. So welcome to this moment. Welcome to this experience that you've chosen to have with me. Kidding. Kinda, I guess I am. Oh, goodness. All right. Today feels like one of those lovey-dovey days for me, honestly. Like, if I could just cuddle up, I would. Just like sinking into that loving feeling. Feels like a return to the womb. And I'm liking it. I got my veggie chopper today also, so now I can cut up these onions. I get them nice and diced without crying. And like tomatoes and other stuff. Like, I've actually started eating broccoli stems because they're actually pretty good. I was like cutting them thinly and then like cooking them. But with the veggie chopper, that's a lot less work on my part. And it means that food gets cooked faster because there's less that I gotta do. And when I learned to cook, it's so interesting, I guess, that, you know, I have my mother and my grandmother who've been cooking all my life. But I waited until I went to go visit a friend about a year ago, 11 months ago, roughly, to start cooking. And so he's the one who actually taught me some of the things that I know about cooking, as far as like you cook from least water to most water. Because as the more watery things cook, they release that water, and so the things that are already cooked, it prevents them from being overcooked or something like that. And so like things like tomatoes that hold a lot of water, mushrooms that hold a lot of water, you would put in last, aka the things that don't need to cook as long, or whatever. Right. So let's get these down. I don't think. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I was gonna say I don't think I'm going to organize them by month. We'll just like do it however, because that's how my brain operates. But I think I will. See, I already struggle. As long as I tell myself that I struggle, I will struggle. There we go. See, they just popped out a lot. That's fine. All right. The weeping willow and the caterpillar at the bottoms of the deck. I just saw these on the Legacy channel. That's why I laughed. That's interesting. I wasn't gonna look. I was like, sure, why not? That was not the best. That's fine. Okay, yeah. Was that the gong? Is that the gong? No, that's the door. Okay. I was like, if that's the gong, I'm the 200 cards, and I'm seeing the same ones. The door and the vulture. The door and the vulture is interesting. With Fair Woman and the club. Oh, okay. The door and the vulture speaks of transformation, very death energy. The door is a precipice. A vulture is a decomposer, right? They take what is rotten, they fill themselves, and then they leave the rest. It helps the earth naturally break down and return those vital key elements to the soil for something else to grow. But then the fair maiden in the club, maybe that's us not recognizing the death cycle in creation and life as the opportunity for new life that it is. And so it's like we vehemently hold on to one specific thing, but again, it's like us holding on to that keeps us from crossing over into this new space, keeps the vulture from doing what it needs to do to actually create that. Some things we just gotta let go. November, February, that's my birth month. March, okay. April, okay. May, June. All right, so we couldn't start with January, but everything else is coming out in order. December. It's going to be the last month. Oh, here's January, so it's not going to be January. August and September. Okay. This, I'm not going to call this a yearly forecast for 2021. So this will just be whatever it is. Honestly, I feel like we're in the space of creating our own destinies. I'm going to give this 12 shuffles, and then I'm going to pull off the top. Oh, the shuffle is so long. Oh, gosh. Well, let's see. Let's just go with these. Why not? Let's just go with the flow. I'll close my eyes so I'm not biased where the astral house comes out. Last one. January. Oof. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And we've got 4 cards left. I'll save these for the end. I'm actually going to read the book. And then I'm going to get off here and go about my day. First card, Astral House of Wealth in January. January is bringing the wealth? I'm going to read this. But this feels like the beginning of fulfillment, the beginning of a disbursement. For the work that we've already done, it's already guaranteed certain things. And it's not that, like, that came out at the very beginning, so there's still more work for us to do. But this is, there's an energy of compensation here. That is gorgeous. Wealth is not here, so I have to go to the house section, I guess. Hold it. Tea leaf symbols and their meanings. Where's the astral house symbols and their meanings? I mean, maybe I don't need it. Maybe this is saying I don't need it. Maybe this is telling me, I mean, it's rough, Patrick. What more do you need? Well, I would like for this book to tell it to me, tell me what it is. I don't want to have to use my brain. I want you to think for me. I'm just playing. I guess they don't. Oh, wait, here we go. Well, the astral house pyramid method. So, no. All right, that's cool. That's fine. So, the energy of wealth. There's abundance here. There's gold here. I think, though, there is this energy of what we value being in a space of change. Just because we only back things by gold because gold is something that we view as valuable for whatever reason we view it as valuable. But if society changes in a certain type of way, for example, if we start to value water a lot more for some reasons, but we're not going to get into them, then water would become worth more than gold. Now, right now, water is one of our most abundant and, depending on where you are, the most underappreciated or one of the more underappreciated resources for it being as important to it is for us with the functioning of society in our daily lives. Having clean water is a blessing. And this could also this could speak of self-worth and the things that there's also this energy of like the things that we'll continue to build towards and what we'll continue to support or begin supporting energetically that leads to physical things. Now, February is bringing us the Vulture. Vulture says depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. I guess I'll read that, but I don't know. See, this is the thing with some of these. Vulture energy to me is gorgeous because it does what is necessary. If it wasn't for vultures, then there would just be rotting carcasses all over the place. And like, ew, who wants to live in a world where the trash never disappears? Why don't I say it like that? Anyway, so Vulture. This says depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. A vulture stands on a craggy ledge, surveying the scene below, waiting for an animal to die so that it may scavenge on the carcass. This card indicates that you may be going through a period of anxiety or depression, or you could be worried that people are waiting for you to make a misstep, so that they can glory in your misfortune. So that they can glory in their misfortune. I'd say revel in your misfortune, but I do love that before I came into this, I said this is an energy of whatever we give our energy to, whatever we're building up on. So we're building up on anxiety in February. Okay. But then the sunrise comes out in March. So I'm going to ditch the book for this. This is the Hierophant channel. Because with the sunrise coming out, it makes more sense for that other energy. I guess it could be the energy of people who thrive on negativity, but it feels like the things that are necessary to be put to bed being put to bed, the processes that are necessary to transform them into something that we can build off of in a positive way is happening, so that the Aksunare is happening in March. I think this is going to be interesting because March is going to mark the year. That's going to be the year mark for at least America and some other countries for lockdowns and shutdowns and when all of this started. Now, other countries like Wuhan, they had already been shut down by now, or that city had already been in quarantine lockdown. Other countries were like in February. Some of them were starting to get into it. So it's coming up on that year mark. And the fact that it is a year, it's almost like that's a milestone that compounds. Just like sometimes a week or a month or a few months, a number of months, and then a year. It's like, wow, it's really been a whole year and nothing has changed. Now, with this vulture energy, if the necessary transformation has occurred, then that's where we're going to begin to see the rebirth. The sun says new creative ideas, new ventures, and a fresh start. A fresh start. Sunrise says that. A fresh start. I love that fresh start after June. And it's March, where spring starts. Spring starts. Why is January wealth though? I can see February being the vulture, right? It's that space between winter and spring. So that's a vulture energy. It's the ending of that death or stillness period, making preparation for a new growth. Here's a new growth in March. It's creative, new ventures, and a fresh start. Going into April, it's the lily, which is spiritual love. April showers bring May flowers, but the lily blossoms early this year, or in this space. I love that because the lily coming with the spiritual love means that there's some integration after this vulture. Sometimes when things change and when things undo themselves or when things work out, we lose all of the insight that we gained in that space and in that situation, in that place. This is not only us retaining it, but integrating it and building off of it something a lot closer to what it is that we wish to see reflected out into the world. Again, because we've let this vulture tear down, take down, decompose the things that needed to be decomposed. May is bringing the arrow. Now, the arrow says you are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. The arrow could be maybe this year is going to be about wealth in general. But again, and I am like for those who did whatever, I think January is probably going to see some things come to pass. Girl, what is all this on the floor? I just got these cards. I just got these cards. This is why I can't keep a complete deck. Oh, I can't wait for that new space. But things are still probably gonna end up on the floor. Well, I actually read these because I noticed these when the arrow came out. So the dagger and the key are here. The dagger is fear, worries, intense situations. The key is successful outcome to your problems. So with the arrow, this is a moment, this is a time of acceleration. Accelerating whatever it is that we've been putting energy towards. It's like an Eight of Wands energy, but it's the release of that. This is all the aiming and the target acquisition type stuff here. And I said April showers bring May flowers, but the lily bloomed early. Everything else is still coming in season. So the lily in April almost feels like either reassurance that things are going to be okay, or it's almost like a last ditch effort to get us on the right path. Not a last ditch effort, kind of sort of last minute to get us on the right path and to make sure that we're heading in a direction that we want to be heading in. June is going to be bringing us the rainbow. And June is Pride Month. June is Pride Month, and we get the rainbow. Oh my gosh, it's June and not July, right? I'm pretty sure it's June. It says the most difficult part of a situation is over in June. Pride Month. Be gay, be happy. Gay as in happy, also gay as in homosexual if you're homosexual. Or not heterosexual, I guess, because Pride is for everyone who under the LGBTQIA plus umbrella, and for the people who celebrate those people, the allies. Um, I'm pretty sure June is Pride Month. I should know. I'm pretty sure it is. But we're going down the key path because the rainbow means it's all working out. No rain, no rainbow, right? July is bringing the leg. Ooh, stepping into a new experience. Who is this? One second, y'all. People don't just call me. How is this? What? Hello? Oh, girl. That was an interesting call to come in and the okay. So the leg is here. A leg is something. It offers us support and mobility. The legs support the weight of the body, right? I guess we could say the foot is the mobility and the leg is the support that not only enables the mobility, but it carries the weight of everything above it. She was like, "Hey," so like she just called. She was like, "Hey, we're just calling to see how like people are affected by COVID and stuff like that." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "So like, are you currently employed or whatever?" I'm like, "Oh, I just graduated, currently looking for employment." She was like, "Okay, cool. Like, would you like some help looking?" And I was like, I hesitated because like, um, if it means that the person is going to be helping me, that might be helping me. I was like, well, that person never really listened to me before. So some of the opportunities, while I'm grateful and thankful that like I was presented with them, they didn't necessarily line up with what like the direction I was going. I came across someone else who was a lot more helpful. Um, but the fact that that person didn't call me, now I'm like, should I be concerned? Should I be worried? I don't know. She was like, it doesn't hurt to say yes and to just get some extra information. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And she's like, "Are you feeling alone or isolated due to COVID or anything else?" I was like, "Nope." She was like, "Okay, all right, bye." I was like, "Bye, thanks." So the leg is coming out in July. What did the leg say? Stepping into a new experience. The spiritual love comes in April. The sun rises in March. If we choose the key in May, it leads to the rainbow. If we choose the dagger in May, it leads to the rainbow, but we're focusing on the rain and the storms rather than the sun and the rainbow afterwards. It keeps us in that stormy state instead of being the way out. That is the rainbow, which signifies the end of the storm. And then the leg comes, which is us actually crossing that threshold, the threshold that was presented with the vulture, with the door and the vulture in the beginning. This is also over halfway into the month. July is the seventh month. We've crossed the halfway point. August is bringing us the diamond. You'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. July may be a space of not necessarily proving, it'll be partially proving, but the diamond is made under pressure. February and January might hold this vulture energy where we actually see, because it feels like there's going to be a check to see if the diamond is formed. If the diamond is formed, we need not apply more pressure. Also, someone was talking, it might have been Russell, and it brought the piezoelectric or the piezo effect back into mind, which is when you apply pressure to something, either it produces a current or it produces a noise. Piezoelectric, it produces a current. Or that running a current through something increases the pressure. Like the current and the pressure are related. And we talked about the current at the beginning and technically the end on, I talked about it on the Legacy channel just now. Now over there, it was about being in the current and not being subsumed by it or separate from it. Here, there's a check in here to see if the diamond happens. If the diamond's already happened. If it's happened, again, you can turn off the pressure and you're presented with the diamond. If it doesn't, then it needs to cook longer. The pressure could increase somewhere in here, depending on how we've established ourselves. September brings the cup. You should accept valid criticism. That's such an interesting message for cup. You should accept valid criticism. Because I would, cup, ace of cups. It's one cup and a teapot kettle thing. It's a teapot kettle. Because the spiritual love is here. I mean, there's a love right there. But you should accept valid criticism in September. Sometimes when we achieve certain things, especially certain things in the face of opposition, we can be a little defensive of it. If we're too defensive, it's going to stop us from improving even more. With the diamond, with that check to see if we need not apply more pressure, just because you're removed from the pressure doesn't mean that you forget everything that you learned while you were under it. And again, I think I talked about that maybe with the vulture and sunrise. Sunrise meaning that we got everything that we needed out of that to grow new life, to continue moving. Things don't stop after the diamond. Things aren't over, and we don't get to throw our hands up and quit. So I think September being the cup is a continuation. The leg into the diamond may be the end of one phase. The cup could be a call into a higher phase. And again, we always have choice, so we don't necessarily have to take it. October is the horse, which is a short journey. Horses are, I talked about horses in the last video, interestingly enough, because the seahorse came out. It's an energy of movement that is associated with freedom because of the lack of restriction on that movement. So with the horse coming after the cup, if we decide not to stop at the diamond and to keep going, again, it propels us even further. We go even higher. We get even closer to ourselves and whatever else is happening. November is bringing the firecracker, which is excitement. So we go from short journey into excitement. There's an energy of compression here. I think the time, and maybe it's related to this arrow energy, maybe it's related to the energy that we're coming into, maybe it's related to the things that we're learning and integrating and incorporating in our lives. But it's feeling like the separation between work and reward is decreasing. Because the horse even says it's a short journey, and maybe it's a short journey because the horse is so fast. Then we get firecracker excitement a month later. Like this isn't, we start with this and then we go through a bunch of darkness and then we start to come into the light and then there's some more, there's a wrestling with the light and the darkness, more wrestling with the light and the darkness, us giving into the light, working through the light, and then like 5 years later we come into the firecracker and like no, October is the horse. November is the firecracker because at September with the cup, we made the choice to increase our capacity or to be filled in a way or to continue to be filled and to not stop when we got the diamond. You can't make a diamond necklace out of one diamond. You need multiple diamonds or whatever. I don't necessarily have to get into greed, but it's not to stop here. And again, there is a shortening here because the horse is so fast. If we were walking, it would take a lot longer. And if we weren't going anywhere, it would take even longer than that. And December is ending us with the ladder, which is climbing towards success, which is ascension, which is moving up a level. And I love that there's red and blue here because that also, it's this element of integration and separation. It feels like it's an accepting of the polarity, of the paradox of duality. And it's like on one side, they're a lot more separate than they are on the other. So it's together when they need be, interacting when they need be, but also separate when they need be. They come together as one to create, and then they separate again. And it's this firecracker explosive. Oh gosh. I mean, we had the lily in April and fireworks in November. So hey, and the horse in October. Okay, calm down. But with the latter, again, it's ascension. Now, honestly, all of this could have already happened last year specifically, or it could be happening now. Whatever pace we decide to go at is the pace and the time in which this will happen. And I think the vulture, and the door did come out with the vulture. The vulture is what really dictates and determines all of this. Because if we don't allow the vulture to do what it does, then the smell of decaying, rotting flesh will never go away. And I think with that message is like sometimes we're so victimized or we're so far into like waiting for things to fall apart or someone's out to get me that it's like it keeps us distracted in a way from focusing on the things that we could focus on to actually get to where it is that we're going. Just letting it go. And I guess that was the thing with January, wasn't it? It's like there's going to be compensation for what we've already done, but also like we're still required to do more. Like this isn't where we stop. This isn't the end. And so for the work that you've done, you'll be seeing some of that come in. For the work that you do, you'll be seeing some of it come in. A lot of this really is at our own pace. And it's gorgeous. I think the most challenging thing in this in May, it's a question of perspective and where you put your energy and what you put your energy towards. It can be either the key to unlocking something brand new, or you can choose the dagger where that all of that sort of stays locked. But even then, again, that feels like it's going back to the vulture. Either you let the vulture decompose, or you look at the vulture's work as trying to tear you down or do whatever. I don't know. So the key really unlocks the rest of this. But then again, the cup, you should accept valid criticism. That's a call to do more and be more and reach new heights. Literally by December with the ladder. New heights. But you don't have to take the cup either. You can stop at the diamond, you can stop at the vulture, you can stop at the dagger. The diamond, the dagger, and the vulture. I might title this that. I am going to title this that. Before I forget, give me 1 second. I'm going to click this little edit button. The diamond, the dagger, the vulture. There we go. And yeah, so now let's look at the extra cards that came out, or the extra ones we had. We're starting with the casket. If you let it die. We're starting with the casket. The casket says, someone going out of your life or the end of a situation. Where do I put these? After the dagger, maybe? I don't know. We'll just note these. The nest, it says, an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. But that casket makes room for this nest. You can't put eggs in the nest if it's too full. And if you don't build the nest, then the eggs hit the ground. And yeah. And again, so all of this, I guess, is clarifying the vulture. And I did put it right there. I mean, I was just going to put it in the middle, but that space is being created for something. That vulture energy is necessary for this. And if we don't fight it, we get stuck in the decay cycle. We never make it back to spring. Next is the chair, empty. Someone is leaving your life again. The empty chair. It almost looks like a throne, but I don't know if this is like a skull and crossbones under the chair. It's giving me semi-Egyptian feeling with the top, but whatever is under the chair, it looks like the bottom half of a skull. Again, this is a space that needs to be empty, something that needs to be removed to move forward. And then the axe is the last thing. And the axe says forces working against you. So I guess that is poison under the chair. There's something that we're holding on to that is actively keeping us in situations that we don't want to be in. And it's kind of sort of going back to that dagger and going back to what I said up here about the things that we give energy to, like those are going to be the things that grow. And there's something here that's an energy drain. No matter how much energy you put into it, it doesn't grow. And the solution isn't to put more energy into it. And with that nest sitting between the casket and the empty chair, that could be us really trying to make it work. But something is just like not maturing. It's not hatching. And I guess not every egg has a chick inside of it, no matter how long you incubate it. So yeah, bottom of the deck is the Weeping Willow. Oh my gosh, it's the Weeping Willow again. So check out the video on the Legacy channel, Real Koruk, Riokoruk. If this is a concern for you, potentially. But that's where I'm going to end this. I hope you're happy with whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make it even better. Because for those who act in alignment with and believe in miracles and miraculous things, they are not only possible but constantly occurring, unfolding in ways that you may not even know. Constantly. I've had miracles unfold from setbacks last year and at the tail end of the year before. And then when they continue to unfold, I'm like, oh, wow. Now I'm like perfectly positioned. I thought this was a setback. What? But again, it's what you focus on. I think we ascribe. I think ascribe is the word I want. We assign meanings to things that really affect how they play out. And to be absent is not the solution because that leads to the ends. That could also be us leaving our thrones empty and allowing whatever to happen that happens. What we permit persists. It's a double-edged sword, and it has lots of paradox and contradiction wrapped all up into it, but the spirit understands inside, the part of us that is in communication. It understands and it helps guide us and lead us. So we're going to get a final card. Now, all these cards are probably going to be together. I should have shuffled them into it instead of just putting them all in the same place. But hey. Ooh, the carriage. Bottom of the deck is the wreath. Ah! The wreath says sorrow over a loss. Okay, well, that's not a holiday. But the carriage is here, which I guess is the hearse. It's either the hearse or a carriage. Either this is a holiday wreath or a grieving wreath, apparently. Carriage is a journey, either physically or mentally. Either physical or mental. This one ain't a pumpkin, so this ain't a Cinderella tale, unfortunately. But we have a journey in sorrow over a loss. This feels like not in the moment, it's not understanding why. But as long as you continue that journey, I think, again, like I was talking about, it'll unfold itself into something beautiful. If you let the vulture do what the vulture is supposed to, it has the capability to do that. If you don't let the vulture do what it's supposed to do, then that thing is forever dead. It's forever a loss. It can't transform or change into anything more. Why get stuck there? Why park ourselves there? Why do that to ourselves when we have the opportunity to be free? More powerful than we know. And we give so much of that away. But that's fine. You know, if that's our choice, that's our choice. It's your choice. It's your life. Do what you want to do. So I'm going to put the carriage here. And I'm going to flip this one. And we have the tulip. Great passion. Oh, I didn't know tulips were so hot. Oh, okay. Tulip. I get it. I get it. I get it. Ha ha. Funny. Apparently we're immature today, but fireworks came out in November, so hey, don't blame me. Blame my immature mind. I was born this way. I strongly dislike how sometimes I'll just laugh at the most immature thing. Like somebody will say duty, and I'll just lose it. I'll lose it. I'll be like, Patrick, like, you're not 12 or 10 or 5 anymore. Like, it's not that funny, but I won't be able to stop laughing because it's so gosh darn hilarious. Anyway, all right, this is where I leave y'all today. There are some things I kind of want to do and talk about, I guess, but you know, we'll see. We'll see when it happens. So, I almost said I love y'all. Almost said love you later. Oh goodness, why do I freak out when I almost say that I love you? Maybe that's something for me to unpack. You know, I'm not as cold as I put on sometimes. I just don't have any tolerance for. I don't know. It's like now that I'm doing better, it's not that I don't understand, but it's like once you know that certain behaviors and decisions continue to put us in a space of asking ourselves why things don't work out, then it's like if you know why and someone else is asking, even though they're not asking you for the answer, it's like, well, like, are you surprised? Because you're not doing anything to stop this or change this. You're feeding it. it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to be moving on. I'm going to be progressing. I'm going to be moving forward. I pray y'all do the same. Anyway, none of that, all of that is extra. I guess I love y'all. Bye.